What's up, guys? Welcome to the GARTEI'S camp. We're glad and happy to have you guys here. If you haven't already, subscribe, share, like, comment. I'm here to share my 6-week update postpartum with you guys. So my transition from the hospital, from having the baby to here, has been it has been a journey, actually. I was in the hospital and I had a very traumatic delivery, labor and delivery. So coming home has been rewarding because I hated being in the hospital. It was like I hated every part of being in the hospital. So coming home, it was hard because, you know, as you guys know from our last video, I had a C-section. Coming out of a C-section was really challenging. I had to learn to walk again because when you go into having a C-section, as you know, you get an epidural in your back and you have anesthesia. So the anesthesia numbs I believe from here on down. So my leg was swollen and it's basically like I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to walk again, had to learn how to move a certain way because, you know, when someone goes into a C-section, if any of you didn't know, like it's 7 layers they have to cut before getting to the baby. So like imagine all those cuts to get to the baby, and then they have to sew it back individually. So it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with. So I had to deal with that, and also when I came home, I remember the night of when I came home, I was like really struggling because my legs were still swollen from the anesthesia, and I was in so much pain. It was in a lot of pain. I was in a lot of pain, and at the time I didn't have medication, so I didn't have any pain medication. So it was like really challenging, especially when baby cried. It took a while for me to get to her, and that was the most challenging with the transition to home. It's like being in pain and not being able to get to my baby as fast as I would like. Joy that I find in motherhood now is holding my baby every day, being able to feel her outside my womb, feeding time that I spend with her, even breastfeeding. Like breastfeeding is something that I enjoy with my daughter, is breastfeeding her. It's because it's like our little one-on-one time. What else? I like waking up to her. Although the sleepless nights occur, but like I love every part of it. Okay, so I'm not gonna say that it happened to everyone, but sleepless night is a thing. But how I adjusted to my baby's schedule is learning her, knowing her different cries. Like, you know, she could be gassy, her diapers changed. So like just learning her in the first few weeks, learning what bothers her, what makes her what put her in discomfort, what makes her cry. So after learning her, I was able to adjust. I was able to adjust to her, and, you know, alternate with my husband to take turns to be able to attend to her. My mood was up and down. I feel like my hormones was all over the place. I struggled a lot with not being able to like move how I wanted to in the beginning because, you know, because of the the C-section, I was able to move as fast as I wanted to. I wasn't able to do things around the house like I wanted to. I believe I was affected by depression because of how my hormones was. Like, I would just sit there and cry, and I would just like struggle with my thoughts. Something that one of the things that I struggled with most is the fact that, like, you know, here, like when you go to the doctor and stuff, you're not able to tell them the truth because automatically they want to put you on medicine instead of, like, you know, finding natural ways to go about being depressed, because depression is a real thing, right? So I wanted to first, before going on medicine, I wanted to first be able to use my things around me to help me cope, versus like just going on medication, like going to take a walk, doing the things that I like, listening to encouraging music, watching movies that are encouraging, things that would help me stay out of my mind versus just being on a pill while having a baby. Boundaries that I set in my stage of being a new mom is first being on the same page with my husband. Being on the same page with my husband, like, we had discussions before, like how we're gonna go about being parents, and being that at this time where we had baby girl, it's a lot going on in the world with, you know, it's basically flu season. So like being mindful of like you know, people we let around her, not having crowds of people around her, like, you know, people who did come see her, making sure they wash their hands, making sure they had on masks, stuff like that. So being protected but not overly protective, because, you know, we have to share her with the world. Okay, some advice that I can give: going to the hospital mentally prepared is so important. Having a birth plan and not being settled on the birth plan that you have, knowing that anything could pivot at any moment. Having a support system where people can pray for you, encourage you. Also do your research. Do your research on both vaginal and C-section, because you don't know what could happen in an instance where anything could happen from your safety or the baby's safety. So you want to make sure you do research on both, because anything could pivot at any time. Well guys, hope those tips was helpful. Thank you for tuning in. We have videos uploading every week. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. See you guys.